Hello everybody, it's Lazel here with another video. Today is Wednesday, so the Undead King is up again, and today I want to test a few setups out because I have recognized myself that I have been sending the same setup over and over again. I was performing pretty well, but then I compared myself to other players and saw, okay, they must be doing something different. I had a talk with a few friends, and today's Undead King I want to use to send a few different setups, explain why they give different points, and so on and so on. First of all, we look into the Undead King. The current nemesis is cavalry, so there is nothing really much for me. I'm not focused on cavalry. As you know, I am an infantry mage player, and these troops I will use today. For today's research, I first of all want to explain or get a bit into my technology so you can take this into consideration. As I said, infantry mage focus, furthermore my lord skills, because we will also be testing a few things with angels. I have to say that I cannot get down to the angel technology in my lord skill tree because, as you know from me, I use a split lord skill tree. So if I use angels, please take into consideration that they are also missing 60% in total technology from the attack, from the HP, and from the defense. Then I will continue with my pet as usual, army size increase. Then there's the attack expert and the life source. In my opinion, the best things, or probably they are the best things to send against the Undead King, just for the reason that the Undead King doesn't have a specific troop type. For example, that things like, as you can see here, the anti-infantry skill, this won't give any additional damage to the Undead King, so it doesn't make sense. So this is why Life Source and Attack Expert are, in my opinion, the best things you can send or prepare on your pet. Then quickly getting into my artifacts, and you know my luck, I still don't have a fifth artifact that I can really use, so I used the Angel Sword on level 1 in addition to my other artifacts. Lately I got the Muramasa on 4th star, so the mage damage by 8.5% will work out pretty nice. And I also was able to finish my 70/70 Colossus. This time my main focus was to get both level 70 skills and the one additional mage attack here. So this is what my technology looks like today, and this is kind of the quick overfly. You can see, okay, achievements, we will get into them later. This is the current technology that I'm using. Quickly checking my gear. I have my mastery staff, I have my eternity belt, my chaos bracelet, so everything that you need for infantry and mages as your main focus. Then now we will start to adjust the setups. But first of all, I want to remind again, if you go for the Undead King, yes, there is a nemesis against this type, but from what I have experienced so far, if your focus or if your technology focus, for example, is mages and the current nemesis is archers, stick to your mages. That is at least what I have experienced. Your mages will perform better because they have your technology focus, even if the nemesis of the Undead King are archers. So with our first setup, we will test something pretty simple. We will send one of each unit, and in the end we will fill with our strongest mages. So kind of like pretty standard setup, 273, 763. So this must have been it. All right, you can see we will send one of each unit. So every unit absorbs one hit. And then we will also send one additional angel. This is very important. You will see later why. And then we will just fill with our strongest mages. We will start with that, and to take that, we will change our achievements accordingly. I always have to remind myself to check the achievements. We will go for the persistent with attack boost. We will go for increased attack of mages. And now, because we're sending a full mage backline, we will just use the back row troops HP by 10% increased, and we will also use the build master for also additional HP, so our mages are just as healthy as possible. And furthermore, we will now also buff up. Those 15% for 1 hour buffs are always very helpful. And I want to say that I kind of messed up today too, because I used my fast expansion already and it won't be able for today anymore. So I will have to play this event with my normal march size. But yeah, it happens. And now I would say that we will make a quick overview again. Pet is ready, artifacts are ready, our Colossus is ready. We got the correct achievements equipped. We have our gear ready and we buffed up, so we can go for the first hit. All right. One thing that I wanted to add. Remember that your Mystic College skills apply to your technology against the Undead King. I often sent kind of like the same setup and had different point differences, and by closely watching the replay I could see that the fatal hit of the mages triggered different amount of times, which made this huge point difference. So take that into consideration. That makes fatal hit a very, very powerful skill, because it doesn't only help you in normal fighting, it also helps you in events. For example, like against the Dark Albus Lord or against the Undead King. Fatal hit, always a nice thing to have when you send mages. Alright, so let's go for the first hit. We are buffed up, we can go now. Checking the setup again. We will send 1 Angel 2, here's the setup. And yeah, you can see one of everything, angels and maximum mages. Okay, so first hit is done. And we did like 564 million points. And yeah, doesn't look that good. And if we look closely now, check the time when the mages start to hit. They started to attack on the 7th second. Quickly doing that again. Yeah, almost at the 8th second. And yeah, you can see the Undead King doing his normal attacks onto one of each units. And always sending his AoE skill into the mages, or his ranged attack into the mages. And let's speed this up here. Normal hits. Yeah. Alright. This attack is done. And we take these points into consideration. For our next attack, I want to send the same setup, but I want to take the 1 angel out. And I'm pretty sure that this will make a difference, because by pushing your angels between your front line and your back line, there's a gap, or the gap gets increased between those two unit lines, and that will cost you more time. Yeah, as you can see, there's a huge point difference in it. And as I said from the first report, remember our mages were starting to attack at the 7th or almost 8th second. And now we will check this one out. Check when the mages start to attack. Yeah. Again, you can see 5th and almost 5th and almost 6th second that the mages start to attack. So by putting an angel into your setup, which is fine, you can do that in certain events or in certain attacks, because angels are the strongest unit, but remember that they delay your backline attack. Maybe just by 1 second, but it has an impact here in the Undead King. Alright, so the attacks start to go on. So, alright, then let's get into the next setup that we want to test. What is a fact is that from the basic stats, your angels are your most healthiest unit. So what I want to test now is sending a setup that includes all the angels that I have, and then I fill up with my strongest mages. 1, 2, And you can see I'm sending my maximum angels. Please remember again that I don't have the additional 60% of technology from my mages. But we will now check out how it works when you send a way more healthier frontline, less mages, but still you have more units. We keep the achievements because the only achievement that we could exchange is the back row HP, but we would exchange that for additional HP of cavalry and infantry, and that doesn't really make any sense. If we send Angel as beefy frontline or middle lane or however you want to call it. And now we will check this one out. You could see that we get way less points while our angels are still doing some nice work. The Sacred Flame also applies to this event. But as I said, the thing is that the amount of angels you send, for example, like me here with 99k, is so much that you can see that before the angels even die, your mages are mostly already dead or close to dead. And yeah, just take it into consideration. Maybe with the additional 60% of technology from the war tree, this report would have been way better. But for me, I know that I work with a splitted lore tree. It doesn't make really sense to send that many angels or to focus on angels. And you could see that in the end, everything just died simultaneously. So now I want to test something where I will just send half of the amount of angels that I have. For example, we will send like 50k so that we will have way more mages, because you saw how healthy our angels were, and we will test this out now with round about half of the amount of angels with way more mages. 2, 2, 3, 7, 6, 8. And always remember to bring your pet. And let's go. What I could have done, I forgot that, is because I'm not sending any infantry currently, I could have changed my helmet to my Templar crown for more army size, which would end in more mages, but in the end the result would stay the same according to the point difference. And you could see with not maximum angels, we did way more damage, just because of the fact that from my technology, my mages are way stronger than my angels in attack. Also take into consideration that the fatal hit works for that. And by all the time that the Undead King needs to kill your angels, and while that he's shooting this missile into the backline, the ratio of wounded angels and wounded mages is just way better. So I'll speed this up from time to time. This video shouldn't get to like 30 minutes or something, but this report already looks way better. So I think we still have 6 attacks remaining. We can go for something like maybe 30k angels and then fill with mages. 2, 4, 3, 7, 6, 8. All right, and now we send this one out. And from now on, we will also start to send infantry in combination with angels. And we will see how this will work out. But so far, we are doing okay. Okay, this one is already way better. Like 30k angels looks pretty okay. They deal a certain amount of damage. They are healthy enough so that the Undead King, of course, has his backline missile to hit our mages. But by the high mage count that we currently have, it is in a good ratio. You kind of also have to test for yourself where to balance that. And I'm repeating this all the time. Take into consideration that I'm missing 60% of angel technology. Because I don't have it in my war tree, but this report looks already pretty okay. What we will change now is we will start to work with certain amount of infantry, but for that I will change the back row troops HP to my frontline troops HP of infantry or cavalry. And what I will immediately do now is I won't send angels at all. Because if our front line is the unit that is tanking most of the hits of the Undead King, I don't really see the sense in it to remove or to lose 1 second. Oh, we will test it. I think that can be very interesting. So I think we will start with maximum tier 12 infantry. Then we can also send 1 angel and fill with our strongest mages. 196884. And we will check this one out. And I would say, let's get into it. So here's the formation again. Strongest infantry that I currently have is tier 12, so we will send them because it makes the most sense to send the strongest basic power units. Okay, and this is currently the highest report that we can get. And if we look into it, you can see, okay, hitting that one unit. Now it's starting to attack our infantry, which is pretty healthy. It looks good. Might be possible that due to my technology, my infantry has a higher health pool than my angels, but I would have to do the math on that. Currently, what is really interesting is to see that even with 1 angel added and by the delay of the angel by 1 second, we still got the highest amount of points. I will speed this up a bit, and now I will test it without 1 angel. So we will send the same setup. Because I had a few wounded infantry, now I will have to send a different amount of mages, but it's not that much. 196, 962. That should work. All right. So let's test this one out and let's go. Okay, so far the best report is the one where we send our strongest infantry with filling up with our mages. Also 1 angel added, but now we are testing it without the 1 angel, and this report looks already or also way better. Of course, we are missing in 1 unit that can absorb 1 hit, but by the fact that we start to attack 1 to 1.5 seconds earlier, it kind of compensates that 1 missing unit. So take this into consideration. I think it is very interesting to see. And yeah, the point difference is so high that, and I have a very, very low chance of triggering the fatal hit by 3.5%. And with that huge point differences, even with more or less triggers of fatal hit, I still can say that it's because of the setup that we perform better and not because of a certain amount of fatal hit triggers. Okay, so we still have a few attacks left. We can still test 3 more different setups, and what I would like to test now is to send a combination of our infantry. Then we will send that 1 magic number of 30k angels, and then we will send or we will fill up with our mages. 167039. All right, quickly save that. So we have our beefy front line, we also have our angels that will absorb a lot, and we filled up with our strongest mages. And I would say, let's send it out. Here's the setup again. Now let's see. Oh, okay, way less. Crazy. That might also come from, again, we put so much focus on our front and middle lane that the backline missile of the Undead King just killed the few mages we have very easily and in time. You can see that we are almost down to, I would say, almost down to 120k of mages when our frontline died, our infantry, and the angels just cannot compensate that damage that my mages have. But still, the report looks okay. But so far, I can say that I personally perform way better when I don't have my angels with me, because they give me they give my backline an additional attack because my backline attacks earlier. And I have to say, I'm repeating this very often, I just recognized, that I'm missing in 60% of technology. But still, I think that that 1 second or 1.5 seconds that you gain additionally by not adding angels has a very high impact on the whole performance. What I would like to test now is sending a bit less infantry and still just filling up with all of our mages, 223, 769. And so quickly check on that. That looks good. All right, let's send it out. Okay, let's see. And this hit. Oh, kind of like almost similar to our best report. A bit less points that might come from having one or two less fatal hit triggers. But yeah, the report looks pretty okay. Speeding it up again. And there's a good death ratio on our infantry. Oh, you could see that 198 infantry survived for the last hit. That's of course a huge win for you if you can, and that is something that you can do while you're watching. You can always check your battling army and really optimize the fight against the Undead King or also against normal monsters, and make it possible that on the last hit there are like 1 to 10 units that survive and absorb one additional hit of your enemy, which can gain you a lot of time and make the opponent waste one big attack. So what I would like to do now again is an attack again from our best report with just to see if there will be huge differences of the fatal hit trigger. And our best attack was with our maximum infantry, with no angels, and filling with our strongest mages. Oh no, I need to do that again. My phone lagged a bit. 197166. All right. So we did like this setup already 2 hits before, or 1 hit before. That one it was. And now we will check again how our army will perform. And I just want to show the differences in fatal hit triggers. Maybe they will happen again. And this will also be our last hit. Yeah, you could see that by this report, we maybe had 1 or 2 less fatal hit triggers. So there was this 1 point difference. Or maybe also from our infantry dying and not having enough infantry left on the last hit to absorb 1 additional attack. Yeah, here could you see that 1.9k of infantry survived on the last hit. But still, it's pretty okay. I'm very happy that I did this video, because it is always very interesting for me if you have a lot of development going on in your technology, that you test certain things out. And so by that we were able to currently rank, I mean there's still like 11 hours left for this event, but we were able to rank on 14, and the rewards from the Undead King became very, very good. I think a few or like a month ago they gave them an upgrade, and working on those beast skill XP scrolls is very important. And I can really say, always play this event. Even if you don't have much time during the day, try to land a few attacks, because even if you're the worst castle in your realm, you will still get 10 scrolls, and that has a very high gem value. Always play this event. Put some effort into finding out your perfect setup. And what I want to do again in the end now is take a quick overview. The final results for me were that it was very interesting to leave angels out, so you get, or so your backline starts to attack earlier. Always remember that it never has to be the maximum amount of angels. You saw that with 99k of angels I performed less good as with like 30k or 50k of angels. You really have to find a well balance in your technology. For that you should really have an eye on what you need, what you focused on, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. But so far I can say, for me as an infantry mage player, I will also open my technology again, so you can check it out when it is maxed out or almost maxed out. As I said, I'm always missing 60% in angel technology because I have that split lord skill tree. But so far this is my technology that I used in this event now. What I can also test is in the next time changing the Colossus and going for way more mage attack, where I can get like up to, I think, 294, 95. But that's for another video. First of all, I hope that you learned a few things in this video about army formation, about adding angels, about how to prioritize your technology against the Undead King. Maybe one of these setups will help you out, and maybe you will perform better with one of these setups. We don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. And I would say, see you in the next video. Goodbye, guys.